will be placed under arrest.
News 4 tracking every new development in Ferguson overnight. From the police effort to disperse the crowd to a peaceful protest calling for the violence to stop.
We're also looking ahead to what's happening today, including watching out for students heading back to school in the area after days of chaos.
Live from KMOV, this is News 4 This Morning.
Good morning to all of you. I'm Claire Kelly.
And I'm Hepkins. Thank you for waking up with us on this August 12th. We'll get an update from Kent and Alyssa with your forecast and a check on the roads coming up at 6:04. But first, the latest on the big story this morning.
Please leave or you will be placed under arrest. People on both sides of the street and sidewalk, leave or you will be placed under arrest.
Take a look at this video. It's new from overnight. It shows police in Ferguson trying to break up more people gathering in the streets. This happened near the Quick Trip that looters set on fire Sunday night into Monday morning. But we haven't seen the kind of violence and looting that we did yesterday morning. In fact, we found this peaceful protest overnight. A small group of people holding signs and candles outside the Ferguson Police Department. Some of them saying, "Stop the violence," others saying, "Rest in peace, Mike Brown." The 18-year-old shot and killed by a Ferguson police officer on Saturday afternoon.
And this morning we have live team coverage of the events we have been tracking for you from overnight, as well as a look ahead at what is happening in the area later today. And we start our team coverage with News 4's Laura Hediger just getting brand new information from police, Laura, within the last 10 minutes.
And Claire, this is information that people have been waiting for since Saturday afternoon. A sergeant here just told me that officers have been notified that the officer who shot and killed Mike Brown on Saturday should be named later today. He says this will happen at noon, but he is not sure exactly where that'll happen, if it'll be at the Ferguson Police Department or possibly County Police. He also told me that the scene you are seeing here, where officers were pushing back the crowd and then eventually firing tear gas into the crowd yesterday, was, quote, effective. Now, this happened right around 8 o'clock last night. Between that time and midnight, we do know at least 10 to 15 people were arrested. But by the beginning of today, all the issues here in Ferguson came to an end. Very good news for those who wanted even more support to stop the riots.
We feel for all households and all safety for all of our families. We want the National Guard to be brought in. We cannot afford to go through another night of what we went through.
That sergeant also tells me that no officers were injured overnight, but he is not exactly sure what today will bring, especially when they first off name that officer and then when Reverend Al Sharpton does come to town. Reporting live from Command Post, Laura Hediger, News 4.
Laura, thank you for the latest. We, of course, will have the latest today on News 4 at noon regarding that. Also, right now, we are following breaking news in Jennings. A day after the first day of school was postponed because of all the violence in the wake of the shooting death of Mike Brown, we have learned students in Jennings will be starting school today.
Yeah, News 4's Mike Colombo was live in Jennings this morning with the latest. Mike, you're just getting this word.
Yeah, Andre, I just got off the phone with Dr. Tiffany Anderson, the superintendent of schools here in Jennings. She said classes are on. In fact, she is riding some of the routes that the buses will take here this morning. Very good news, especially considering the fact that school was postponed yesterday, as you mentioned, in the wake of the violence that resulted from the shooting of Mike Brown. So this means that classes return, things hopefully getting back to normal in this community that has certainly been affected by the violence that has spurred over the weekend. We can tell you, as we have been reporting for several days now, that this has been an ongoing situation that district officials have monitored. They were going to play it by ear, see how things developed overnight, and that was the case. If school was not going to be in session, parents were going to be alerted, and of course that has not been the case this morning. So we're going to continue watching things here, making sure that things go off without a hitch. We expect to speak with the superintendent live here on News 4 this morning coming up. We will share that report with you when it becomes available. For now, Claire, Andre, back to you.
Okay, and we wish all the kiddos in the Jennings School District a happy and safe first day at school. Now at 6:04, weather and traffic on the 4s as Alyssa checks out the interstates into downtown St. St. Louis.
Yeah, on the Missouri side, everything's checking in right at the speed limit. Here's a nice wide look for you. 55 coming into downtown looking good. Still one southbound lane, though, closed coming out of downtown, but 40, 44, and 70 all running very smoothly. I want to take you out to Sky Zoom 4 and give you a live look over in the Metro East. We've identified the slowdown on 64. This is a live look right near 255. Turns out we have one westbound lane currently closed down, and that's causing drivers just to tap the brakes just a little bit. You can see it's early enough. It's not really slowing things down, but we're going to continue to monitor that because for our 64 drivers, this could certainly cause a headache a little bit later in the morning. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's live in Sky 4 watching 44 east of Antire.
And traffic looks like it's a little hazy here. You know, like you said, Alyssa and Ken mentioned, you know, it's a nice clear day, cool, but really not a fog issue. But you can see a little bit of light haze here as you go down the east side of the Antire Hill. Brake lights are on, folks. Are just a little slower through here, but no problems reported at this point in time. A pretty good run coming in from Pacific so far for you this morning. Live from the JimButlerChevrolet.com Sky 4, I'm Captain Roger Brand.
All right, Roger, thank you. We'll continue to monitor that, but as Roger said, for the most part, those gateway guide cameras reflecting a nice clear drive and not too much haze to contend with. Kent, we'll send things over to you. Amazing to see kind of the average temperatures. We're a few degrees lower.
It looks good out there, doesn't it? The sun's coming up. Things are not as hazy this morning. There is some light haze, as Roger mentioned, in some spots, but overall things are looking very, very nice as you look live from our roof up Market Street to the west. And temperatures this morning on the cool side. Washington, Missouri, you're at 61. St. Louis at 65. Edwardsville at 66. Belleville 65 degrees this morning, down to 59 in Rolla, 59 degrees, and we're probably going to see more of those 50s tomorrow morning as we have another cooler start. Low pressure system spinning around the Great Lakes. The rain's way off to the east. The front has moved through. We're under the influence of high pressure, and that's a good thing. This time of year, it can sometimes mean hazy, stagnant weather, but that is not the case today as we get a fresh air mass from the northwest on really a busy northwest wind later this afternoon. The winds are west this morning at 5 to 10 miles per hour, but it'll get breezy. Clear and cooler this morning. The humidity is lower with these temperatures generally in the 60s. Cooler, drier air dominates our weather for the next few days. It will be a breezy afternoon. Our next rain chance comes up over the weekend, and at 6:14 we'll take more detailed look at today's outlook. And I can tell you right now, it is very pleasant.
Good job, sir. Thank you very much. And we'll have much more live team coverage out of Ferguson for you all morning long.
We are also following up on several other developing stories and getting this inside look at the chaos happening at the Galleria Mall after a fight broke out yesterday.
And we're checking with police to see what they were doing last night outside the St. Louis Mills Mall as well. What we know so far, coming right up.
At the scene of another store looted by dozens of people overnight. Some new information and new video for you coming up right after the break.
Welcome back to News 4 this morning. It is 6:10. More looting overnight in St. Louis, but this time the target, 2 businesses in South City.
Police telling us carloads full of people swarmed the shoe carnival in Gravois Plaza. Emily Rao live there this morning. She's been checking in with police. And Emily, you also talked to a manager there who's cleaning up broken glass for the second morning in a row.
That's right, Claire. He also manages the store over on West Florissant Avenue, so no sleep for him on Sunday. Now here again to clean up all the broken glass and what's left over after the looters came in. The scene looks very similar to some of what we saw in Ferguson yesterday morning. The rock those looters used still was lying here on the concrete. Police say that around midnight is when it happened. About 10 cars or more full of people pulled up, jumped out, and then smashed the windows here at the shoe carnival. They went in with faces covered, stole whatever merchandise they could, and then ran out. So this was a lot of people, a big group. Police say that group also attempted to break into the Radio Shack next door. Now I went down there. It doesn't look like they were able to get in there. Some other stores next door also have those metal gates just behind the glass. And I did call police again about 10 minutes ago just to check in. And as of now, they still say they cannot for sure link what happened here to any of the things that we've been seeing in Ferguson. But of course, Claire and Andre, we will continue checking. Reporting live in South City, Emily Rao, News 4.
Emily, thank you very much. A heads up for those due in court in Hazelwood. The city has canceled tonight's municipal court proceedings because of some issues with their computers. The new court date will be Tuesday, September 2nd at 6 p.m. So again, no court tonight in Hazelwood.
Also out of Hazelwood this morning, News 4 getting new video from overnight of a police presence outside the St. Louis Mills Mall in Hazelwood. You can see they had part of the road blocked off with flares right outside the Cabela's store. They tell us this was just a preventative measure. They were out there making sure they didn't have any problems breaking out. That's after they saw some social media posts about people planning to cause trouble at area malls.
Take a look at this. News 4 getting the video from inside the Galleria Mall. Look at the chaos that broke out after reports of a fight. The police moved in. Witnesses tell News 4 that fight happened on the second floor in the center of the mall, and the fight was between two girls. Police took 2 people into custody. The mall was on alert all day yesterday because of the violence in Ferguson.
This morning, we expect to see the Reverend Al Sharpton in Ferguson. He plans to meet with the family of Michael Brown, the teenager shot and killed by a Ferguson police officer over the weekend. And then Sharpton will meet with Ferguson community leaders later in the day. We, of course, will be covering his visit. We'll bring you any new developments right here on News 4 and KMOV.com. The FBI and St. Louis County Police are all still working to find answers to the deadly shooting that has sparked peaceful vigils as well as violence in Ferguson. News 4's Sharon Reed spoke with Michael Brown's family and learned more about his plans for his future before he was shot and killed by a police officer.
Funny, smart kid. You know, make you laugh. He just graduated from high school. He's on his way to Battle Rock. Take up heating and cooling.
Michael Brown Sr. says the world was just getting to know his son, a child he helped raise alongside Mike's mother, Leslie McSpadden. Raising Mike was done with a combination of love and strength.
You talked about how difficult this journey was, getting him to the point of college.
Man, it was rough. Because you know, I just kept my foot in his neck. Me and his mom, you know, kept our foot in his neck. And he got through it.
Now, 2 parents grieving, desperate for answers, are troubled by so much of what they see.
Are you concerned that he's been forgotten in some of this?
Yes. Because the actions that's going on now, it's pushing my son out the picture. There's too much negativity that's going on. I need y'all support. I need the world support right now. We need y'all support.
Sharon Reed, News 4.
News 4 will be continuing to cover that story all day long. Right now, 6:14, time for weather and traffic on the force. In just a bit, Kent will talk to us about why even the dogs will be delighted during what is supposed to be the dog days of summer. After Alyssa Reitmeyer shows us the JB Bridge via the Skies in 4.
And it's just such a nice, clear ride. It seems like we've just had fog almost every morning.
I know, that's right.
It's such a treat for it to be a nice drive out.
Well, dogs like it when it's not hazy.
True, that's true too.
And humans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so we're going with the dogs angle.
Oh, here's a live look from Mark Griffin and Sky Zoom 4. Eastbound and westbound looking good coming over from the Metro East, making your way into St. Louis County. 255 continuing to run smoothly, really all the way up toward 270 there. Let's bring you to the maps and give you a live look at 270 and 44. Always a busy stretch, but how about this? 60 miles per hour in all directions this morning, both on 270 and on 44, at least close to 60 miles per hour. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's watching another stretch of the roadway for us, 70 to the west of the Rock Road.
Yes, traffic certainly hasn't gone to the dogs yet, Alyssa, this morning. Things are light and on the go, looking great. Even though you're headed into the sunshine, this eastbound run out of St. Charles County still in pretty good shape. The shot we're looking at right now through the Rock Road, eastbound traffic to the right-hand side of your screen. You have a good run headed over to Lambert Field this morning. Live from the JimButlerChevrolet.com Sky 4, I'm Captain Roger Brand.
It's been a while since we've had a sunshine delay. Roger, thank you. And here's a look along 170 for you, headed to the south. That's a good ride right on past 70 this morning and all the way down to 40. No real delays at all on 170 to contend with. That earlier slowdown your page has since cleared. Kent, we'll send things over to you. Now watching a whole lot near St. Louis on the Doppler radar.
I am liking what I'm seeing so far. I think you're going to like it too as this day evolves. We're looking at this front having pushed through last night. We talked about that. Brought very little rain to the area. High pressure driving a nice northwesterly flow. It's going to get breezy today, but it's a cool, dry air mass that's moving in. Now, the normal low and high for this date is 70 and 89. Normal morning low is 70, normal high 89. 89's the normal high for almost all of July, I think all of July, and the first half of August. Today is the final day where the normal high is 89. Tomorrow's normal high drops to 88. So we start moving towards September and eventually some cooler weather. But temperatures are in the 60s this morning, although Raleigh has dipped down to 59 degrees. How pleasant is that? Fenton, you're at 64, so is Creve Coeur. Belleville at 65, Edwardsville and St. Louis at 65 too. The high today, 80 degrees, lower humidity, a breezy afternoon, 15-mile-per-hour winds will gust up to 20 miles per hour. And at 6:24, we'll check that 7-day outlook. Cooler days, lower humidity. How long do you think that will last? Place your bets. We'll have the answer coming up at 6:24.
Now, Andre Hepkins, Claire Kellett, meteorologist Kent Earhart, and traffic with Alyssa Reitmeyer and Captain Roger Brand. This is News 4 This Morning.
It is 6:17 in the morning, and we're keeping a very close eye on the situation this morning in Ferguson.
Mike Colombo has an update students nearby will want to hear, and News 4's Laura Hediger staying in touch with police after several days of protests.
And Claire and Andre, very good news to report this morning for any people just waking up in the Ferguson area. I just spoke with those 3 officers behind me. They tell me it was a very quiet night here. Really nothing major has happened since before midnight, but that could change today, especially with what is scheduled to happen today. I have brand new information I'll share with all of you in my full report at 6:30. Mike, out to you.
Laura, I am live this morning at the Jennings School District headquarters, where I can tell you that school will be in session today. Yesterday, we reported that the first day of school was canceled as a result of some of the ongoing violence in the wake of the shooting death of Mike Brown. I have spoken with the superintendent here, who says classes are in session. We will have more information on that coming up in my full report at 6:30. Claire, Andre, back to you.
Mike, we'll talk again in about 10 minutes. Thank you. New information this morning about the massive search for this missing Missouri man who disappeared in Alaska this month. The CBS affiliate in Anchorage says the search for Jerry Warner has been suspended. Warner and his wife were vacationing when he decided to head out and go fishing and has not been seen since.
Police say they have no plans to interview NASCAR driver Tony Stewart again after a deadly crash Saturday night in upstate New York.
Probably remember seeing this video by now showing Kevin Ward's sprint car right there hitting a wall during lap 14 after apparently being cut up by Tony Stewart's car. Then we see this. Ward gets out of his car, walks along the track. Stewart's car comes oh so close to Ward. As you see, we're freezing the video here. The sheriff's department says they have interviewed Stewart twice now.
There are no facts that exist that support any criminal behavior or conduct, or that any probable cause of a criminal act in this investigation.
Now, we need to point out, despite that statement from the sheriff, he also says criminal charges have not completely been ruled out.
Also new from overnight, video showing rescue efforts off the coast of, actually looking at scenes like these out of Michigan, leading to a warning from state police for drivers to stay off the roads. Last night in Detroit, one highway was shut down and backed up for miles because, as you can see there, the road was underwater. Also new from overnight, video showing rescue efforts off the coast of Hawaii. A sailboat got caught in the remnants of Hurricane Julio with 3 people on board. The Coast Guard coordinated their rescue effort, diverting a nearby container ship to help. All those rescued are in good condition this morning.
It was about 2 months ago that we told you about a new app with a very simple message.
Well, it looks like the messaging app that just says yo is really taking off. There's talk that it could be even bigger than Twitter.
Yo.
Steve Harris tells us all about yo coming up at 6:55.
This morning, we're also tracking crime for you in the Metro East. Why police want to hear from you if you know who these people are on your screen. That's coming up at 6:30.
And it's hard to miss it along the St. Louis skyline now. You probably recognize this bridge even if you don't drive over it. I was getting some other big recognition coming up in just a few minutes. Welcome back to News 4 This Morning. It's 6:23. We're taking a live look at the American flag gently swaying in the slight breeze in downtown St. Louis, where it is 65 degrees on a day our man Kent Earhart says will hit 80. A mild August day, and rain's not even a factor until the weekend. We'll check in with him in just a bit. And speaking of, look at all those bridges over there. There, you see the view of the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge from Sky Zoom 4. It looks pretty cool, all lit up at night. The design has grabbed the attention of the region. MoDOT just won top honors for the project at something called America's Transportation Awards. for the best use of innovation on a project in Mid-America.
We want to say congratulations this morning to those of you who live in Baldwin. You live in the safest city in Missouri, according to SafeWise. The online home security and safety company compiled a list after researching criteria including quality of schools, the housing market, economic stability, and FBI crime stats. Town and Country, Shrewsbury, Rock Hill, Webster Groves, and Ellisville all made the top 10 list of safest Missouri cities as well. At 6:24, we transition to weather and traffic on the 4s as Alyssa starts off 270 just west of Lilac.
Yeah, and a little bit of haze to contend with here, but for the most part, it's a nice clear drive. In fact, seeing a bit of a sunshine delay on some of our major interstates, but you can see here coming over the Chain of Rocks, Canal Bridges, and heading on to the west, it's going to be a smooth ride for you. Let's give you a live look from Sky Zoom 4 near 55 in Butler Hill, northbound and southbound, continuing to run smoothly, no delays whatsoever from Jefferson County all the way into downtown St. Louis. So that's the good news. Let me bring you back to the maps and we'll give you a quick ride along. Starting in the Arnold area, about 65 miles per hour and continuing up to the north into St. Louis, or closer to St. Louis, I should say. It looks good right on past 255. Again, right at the speed limit. Kent, we'll send things over to you. It's so much cooler outside. It just is really nice with the lower humidity.
Yes, it is. If I can get my machine started here, I don't know why it kicked out on me. It is beautiful, and we're going to talk about the 7-day forecast and how long it's going to stay this beautiful. Right now, temperatures are in the 60s. 65 in St. Louis, 62 in Sparta and Carrollton, Troy, Missouri, Warrenton, all at 62. These are very pleasant temperatures for this time of year. Low pressure system spinning over the Great Lakes, high pressure in control, driving this northwest wind, a nice cool air mass. The high temperature today, 80 degrees, lower humidity, below normal temperatures. Mid-August, yeah, you gotta love that. It'll be a little breezy. The winds will gust up to 20 miles per hour out of the northwest this afternoon, and things will cloud up a little bit, but a beautiful day. 82 tomorrow after perhaps an even cooler start. In fact, I anticipate temperatures to be 2 or 3 degrees cooler tomorrow morning, and then the high 82, 85 on Thursday, remaining below normal. Things start to get a little warmer as we head into the weekend, and we get a little chance for a spot shower on Friday and a few showers and thunderstorms over the weekend as well. But boy, we have 3 or 4 days. We're just going to be loving our lives here.
We certainly will be doing that. Looks good. Thank you very much, Kent. Here's a look at what we're working on all new in our next half hour. It can be a dangerous situation for airplanes striking birds in midair. Now one U.S. airport is trying something new, hoping to prevent future bird collisions.
The latest Amazon dispute may raise a few eyebrows. Why many of your kids' favorite Disney movies may be at stake.